In 2010, a group of miners in Chile experienced a terrifying ordeal that captured the world's attention. The San Jose copper-gold mine, located in the Atacama Desert, became the site of a harrowing underground incident. On August 5th, a massive rock collapse occurred deep within the mine, trapping 33 miners approximately 700 meters below the surface. The collapse caused extensive damage, blocking the escape route and cutting off all communication with the outside world. The miners were left stranded in total darkness, with limited supplies and no way of knowing if help would ever reach them. As days turned into weeks, the situation grew increasingly dire. The miners faced extreme conditions, including high temperatures, humidity, and the constant fear of further collapses. The lack of sunlight and fresh air took a toll on their physical and mental well-being. Rescue efforts were launched, with teams from around the world working tirelessly to reach the trapped miners. It took 17 days before a drill finally broke through the rock, establishing contact with the miners. The rescuers were able to send down supplies, including food, water, and medication, but the miners' ordeal was far from over. For the next 2 months, the miners had to endure the grueling wait as a specially designed rescue capsule was constructed and tested. The capsule would be used to bring the miners to the surface one by one through a narrow borehole. Finally, on October 13th, after 69 days underground, the rescue operation commenced. The world watched anxiously as each miner was lifted to safety, emerging from the depths of the mine into the waiting arms of loved ones and a global audience. While all of the miners were eventually rescued, the psychological and emotional trauma they experienced during their time underground was profound. Many suffered from anxiety, depression, and post-traumatic stress disorder in the months and years that followed. The story of the Chilean miners' survival and ultimate rescue stands as a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. It serves as a reminder of the horrors that can unfold underground and the incredible feats of bravery and determination that can emerge in the face of unimaginable adversity. In the early 2000s, a series of terrifying events unfolded in the depths of the London Underground, one of the world's oldest subway systems. Known for its intricate network of tunnels and stations, the London Underground has a rich history and, in this particular instance, a haunting tale to tell. Reports began to surface of an eerie phenomenon experienced by late-night employees and maintenance workers. They claimed to have encountered a malevolent presence lurking in the darker, less frequented sections of the underground tunnels. The encounters started with strange noises, footsteps echoing in the distance, distant whispers, and unexplained banging sounds. Some workers reported feeling an intense coldness even in the midst of summer, as if they were being watched by an unseen entity. As more incidents occurred, the descriptions of the entity became more consistent. It was said to be a shadowy figure, tall and cloaked, with glowing red eyes that pierced through the darkness. Witnesses described an overwhelming feeling of dread and malevolence whenever the entity was near. The encounters escalated from mere sightings to physical confrontations. Workers reported being pushed, scratched, and even choked by an invisible force. Some claimed to have been dragged along the dark tunnels, struggling against an unseen assailant. As word spread about the underground entity, paranormal investigators and urban explorers flocked to the London Underground to experience the phenomenon for themselves. Many returned with chilling stories, corroborating the claims of the workers. Attempts were made to capture evidence of the entity through photographs and recordings, but the results were often distorted and inconclusive. Some images showed faint, shadowy figures, while audio recordings captured disembodied voices and unexplained noises. The underground entity became known as the Black Guardian or the Tube Phantom, and its presence continued to haunt the London Underground for years. The stories and encounters became part of the urban legends surrounding the subway system, adding a darker, more sinister aspect to its already mysterious reputation. To this day, reports of eerie occurrences and strange encounters persist in the depths of the London Underground. While skeptics dismiss them as mere figments of imagination or tricks of the mind, those who have experienced the entity firsthand remain convinced of its malevolent presence. Whether it is a product of vivid imaginations, residual energy, or something more supernatural, the legend of the Black Guardian serves as a chilling reminder that beneath the bustling city streets, a hidden world of darkness and horror may lurk, waiting to be discovered by the unwary. In the early 1990s, a series of disturbing events unfolded in the catacombs of Paris, France. The catacombs are an extensive underground network of tunnels and chambers that house the remains of millions of people. They have a dark and eerie reputation, making them an ideal setting for a horror story. During this time, a group of urban explorers ventured into the catacombs, seeking adventure and the thrill of discovering the hidden depths beneath the bustling city. Equipped with flashlights, maps, and a sense of curiosity, they descended into the labyrinthine tunnels. As they delved deeper into the underground maze, they noticed strange markings on the walls. Some seemed like arrows pointing in different directions, while others were cryptic symbols and messages. At first, they dismissed them as mere graffiti left by previous visitors. However, the symbols became more frequent and intricate the further they went. As the explorers pressed on, they began to hear faint whispers echoing through the tunnels. The whispers seemed to come from all directions, creating an unsettling atmosphere. They couldn't discern what was being said, but the eerie voices added to their growing unease. Suddenly, the group realized they were lost. The markings on the walls that they had relied upon to find their way back had become confusing and contradictory. Panic set in as they struggled to retrace their steps, but the tunnel seemed to shift and change, leading them deeper into the catacombs instead. Hours turned into days as the explorers desperately tried to find an exit. Hunger, exhaustion, and paranoia consumed them. They began to suspect that they were not alone in the catacombs. Shadows seemed to move just out of sight, and the whispers grew louder and more menacing. One by one, the explorers started to disappear. Some were separated from the group, while others vanished in the blink of an eye. Those left behind could only listen in horror as their friends' terrified screams echoed through the tunnels. Eventually, only one explorer remained. He stumbled upon a small chamber deep within the catacombs, where he found a crude altar covered in blood and bones. Symbols and occult markings adorned the walls, confirming his worst fears. He realized that they had stumbled upon a hidden sect that practiced dark rituals in the depths of the catacombs. In a desperate bid for survival, the lone explorer made a final dash for the exit. Fueled by adrenaline and fear, he raced through the winding tunnels, often losing his footing and scraping against the rough walls. The whispers became a cacophony of deranged voices, urging him to join them in the darkness. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, he emerged from the catacombs, battered and scarred but alive. The horrors he experienced in the underground depths haunted him to the rest of his days, a chilling reminder of the darkness that lurked beneath the surface of the world. Please note that this story is a work of fiction inspired by the eerie atmosphere of the catacombs. In Paris, while the catacombs do have a haunting reputation, there is no concrete evidence of such events occurring.